quick look at how you potentially create this pencil sharpener here. We're not going to do all the detail, it's just going to be a rough outline of best practice and different methods. So you're probably going to want to start on the top plane. Click for new sketch, click N to go normal 2, P to hide the planes, and then what you can do is you can get a center rectangle. So from there, click and drag out, and we're going to make it 25 by 14, which is the rough size of the sharpener. You can then go Shift E to extrude it. I can drag it around with my right mouse button, and the rough height of this pencil sharpener, I've actually got a ruler here, is about 20, no it's not, it's about, let me just double check that. It is about 9 millimeters, like so. Okay, so if we're going to make that symmetric, it's probably the best practice, and then we can green tick that. So what we have there is, looking at our planes, something that is perfectly centralized and cut through all of the planes, which is what we want to see. The next step we could do is we could get that angle. So if we look at this angle, going from here down to here, this is about 9, this is about 4 at the back. So what I'm going to do is on my front plane, because of how we've created it, click here. I am then going to go and sketch. So S, and then I'm going to get my sketch tool, and what I can do is click N to go normal 2, hide the planes to make it a bit easier, and I can get my line tool by pressing L. I can just draw a random line like so, and now I can constrain it. So click on this dot and click on this dot and press I for coincident, or you can go up here and get your coincident, and then we know that this is going to line up with this end. So I can click on here, and I can do exactly the same thing and press I. Now this is blue still because it can move up and down. So if I get D for dimension, press this dot here, press this dot here, and let's make that 4 millimeters. That is the start. We want to extrude cut this main top section away, so I can press L and draw some lines, or I could use the project tool up here, and I can click on this line, oops, click on that line there, click on that line, we want to delete that dot, and I can now go and press Shift E. It's going to automatically select that, change the direction by clicking on this arrow, and click on remove up here, and we're going to go through all, or I could have clicked up to face. Now it's going from the midpoint, so we're going to go symmetric, and it's going to take away all of that top piece there, like so. Now the only problem with that is we have used basically a sketch and another sketch to create this part. There is, of course, a better way. So I'm going to click on delete and show you. Let's get our plane back up. What we can do, sketch on the right plane this time, press S, the shortcut key, get our sketch up, and then press N to go normal 2. And we can start by drawing a line, like so. And then we can draw another line back here, like so. Draw a line up and draw a line up. Okay, and what you'll see hopefully is the start of our shape. Now we can click on here, and we could click on this point as well, and we could make that vertical. No, we're not. That's not what I want to do. I want to find my point's not going to give it to me. We'll do that in a second. Okay, so I can dimension this end piece to be 9 millimeters, like so, and I can measure this end piece here to be 4 millimeters, like so. Now in terms of how long we wanted this to be, this was going to be, what did we say? I think we said about 25, so that's going to be 25 millimeters, and we want to try and constrain this somehow. So in terms of this moving up and down, it's got a option right now. Hopefully we can try and measure this. So if we go from here to here, halfway is going to be 4.5, like so, and going halfway from back to front, if we go here, we can do 25 divided by 2, and that's going to give us our 12.5, like so. So that is now nicely constrained in the middle of our planes. I can click on extrude, and we want this to be symmetric, so we want it to go 2 directions, and in terms of the width of this pencil sharpener, it's about 10 millimeters, so I can go up here and I can click on 10 millimeters, and that is the total width of our piece. Okay, and as you can see there, we now have our pencil sharpener, and that looks much better in our model tree. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to add these side parts. So as you can see here, we've got this side cutout. So there's a few different ways I can do that. I can go on my top plane, click S and sketch, and then go normal 2, and click P to get rid of the planes, and I can try and get these cutouts sorted. So let me just go back actually 1 second. That was quite narrow. I think I should have probably gone for 15 millimeters, so we can go and edit that. That looks better. Okay, so back in here, we're going to click on the top plane. We're going to click sketch. We're going to go normal 2. We're going to hide our planes. We could use the circle tool. We could get this center point, drag up, get our circle, get a radius of, I don't know, let's say 20, and then get a distance from the center point, by clicking D for dimension, center point to this line here. Let's say that's going to be, I don't know, 7 millimeters. And then we could shift E, extrude that away. We're going to click remove. And because it's in the center, we want it to be symmetric again, and we want it to go through all. So it's going to do both sides, green tick, and that's quite good. But we don't have much control over that. So actually, it's not the best method. We are instead going to get our planes back up by clicking P, click on the top plane, click S to sketch, grab our sketch there, go N for normal 2, and this time we're going to choose one of our arcs. So a 3-point arc will give us quite a lot of control, and we can just randomly select this arc, and we could get a kind of token radius of 20. We can dimension this to be a certain distance from here, so let's make that, say, 4 millimeters, and a certain distance from this end is also going to be 4 millimeters. Now it's kind of randomly floating about. We want this to connect to this line, so we can press I for coincident, and this dot here to connect here, press I for coincident, and that is now fully constrained. We could then just finish off with the L to get the line tool, connect these two up, gives us a solid shape, and we can click Shift E again. That's going to get our extrude up. We're going to click remove, we're going to click symmetric, and we're going to click through all. And now we have that part like so. Okay, so that's quite good. We could have just built half of this shape if we wanted to. So if I can go back to here, we could potentially not go symmetric and just go 14.5. What am I saying? 7.5, like so. Green tick that, and you can see it's gone the wrong way. So if I do this, go in that direction, it's now hiding my feature because of how I have made it. So that's actually not going to work. What I was originally going to do was we were going to then mirror this part. So I can go up to here and grab the mirror tool, entities to mirror. We're not going to do a part mirror, we're going to do a feature mirror. And we want to mirror this extrude. So this extrude here, we can then grab our mirror plane, which is going to be this right plane that cuts straight down. So we can click on the right plane, reapply the features, and then we have our little cutouts. That looks more like our pencil sharpener. So not a huge feature tree, it's looking pretty good so far. The next thing is to get the circular part. So this circular part cuts all the way through. Let's have a look at how we could do that. So we can click on here, press S to get the shortcut up, and click on sketch. We can then go normal 2 because we're clicking on this face. So N for normal 2, C for circle, and then we can use our circle here. And let's make this circle, roughly 8 millimeters. That looks quite big. Click on this dot. We want to find this kind of center point here, so we can use that point, and we can get H for horizontal, so it brings it up to halfway. This can be dragged across, which is not what we want. So we can get our dimension tool, and we can go from that origin in the middle, and let's say it's going to be, I don't know, 2 millimeters, like so. Green tick that, and we have a sketch on a face. We can then do the same on the other side. So S, once I've selected the face, click on sketch, it automatically chooses that. Then I'm going to go N for normal 2. I'm going to get my circle tool by pressing C. I'm going to then click, get a random circle. Let's make it, I don't know, 3 millimeters. Again, we can go from this point to halfway along here, which will make it horizontal, and therefore in the middle of this point and this point. And then I'm going to line this one up with the dot from my circle in the distance. And I can go V for vertical, and now that is fully constrained. So I've got 2 circles. I want to cut between them. What I can use is the loft tool up here. I can select this first profile, and I can select this end profile, and it doesn't like that. Okay, that's because we're using new. We want to choose the remove surface, the remove solid feature. Okay, and we're going to merge it with this. What is going on? That's started our first piece. Hang on a minute, and then we want, no, we don't want that. It's chosen the faces, it's not chosen the actual circle, so you've got to be careful. That's the face again. We need that part, and we need that part There we go. So make sure you choose the actual face of the circular part. And as you can see, that's gone all the way through, which is good. If I just go back before there, some people would potentially be thinking, okay, so we've got a sketch on there. We can extrude that sketch back and remove it. And you could potentially add a draft of, say, I don't know, 5 degrees. But if we go in the opposite direction, you could see how that might work. Even if we made it a bit more, it starts cutting it down a bit more. But you don't really have much control over that, okay? So that wouldn't be a very good method. You see how it's kind of pretty random. So we're going to take that out, delete that, and roll this back. So we've got a pencil sharpener. That's looking pretty good. Hide those planes there. We are happy with that. Now, of course, you can then go in and you can start cutting more parts away and add